Hello, my name is Kalvin. Today I'm going to be showing you how to change a tire. So the first thing is, whenever you notice your tire is flat, you have to be able to pull it off the road. You have to stop first and decide where you can pull it off the road to where it'll be the most convenient place to change it without moving too far. So they say you want to go no more than 100 feet really on the flat without messing up the place where the tire actually is. So my tire isn't actually flat, but I pulled over to a nice convenient spot. It's cold and rainy out, so if at all possible, try not to have a flat tire when it's cold and rainy. So first step is once you've pulled it off, second step, you gotta come back and get your jack. You're actually going to need three things. You're going to need your jack, got right here. You're going to need the crowbar or the wrench, and you're going to need a spare tire. Cut. Alright, now since it is cold and rainy and I don't want to ruin my nice new jacket, I'm going to lay some rock down so I can get down there with the jack. This isn't always a necessary step, but if you're a bum like me and you still have Christmas wrap, it's definitely helpful. Hopefully it stays first. Place to put it under your car, which can be different for many different cars. For mine, I know it's best under the frame. So you're going to find a little groove underneath the frame. You can tell because it's going to be really hard and everything. When you press it, you have it again. Can I see the phone? Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. So right in here, you'll see it's grooved. You can fit the jack, that part, right in there. Alright, so now that I have the jack under there and then the grooves, we'll start turning this. There are many different jacks, so not everything's going to look like this. It's actually a really crappy one, so hopefully you don't have it. But if you do, because you are actually picking up a car with this thing, it's pretty heavy, so you have to find a way to kind of angle it and angle this thing to turn it. That makes it easy. So later on, whenever you're really getting it off the ground, it's going to be really hard. Even for a big guy like me, it's going to be hard to get it. So you have to make sure you get the right angle, and it'll just easily. Now that I'm done with that excruciating 5 minutes, I'm going to lift this car up. You gotta get your crowbar. You gotta come over, take off all the lug nuts, and then take off your tire. So this being pretty hard, obviously, since you got a crowbar, you gotta make sure it's really on there. And then what I do to help me is I try to use my legs, not use my back as much, or torso really, and just push myself into it. That one was easy because I've been loosening that one a little bit, so you have to do too much with it. And it's always good if you have, especially if you have the five lug nuts, you always want to go in the star formation, so you never want to go one right next to each other, but you want to go diagonally, I believe it is, diagonally across, and then something that can do with pressure, good for the tire. Like that. Just your legs. now that I've gotten these pretty loose enough anyway, you don't want to sit there, because assuming you're actually broken down on the road, you don't want to be here too long. So if you don't want to have to use the crowbar too much, once you have it loose enough, you can probably get it with your fingers and just start continuously loosening it up. And yeah, you want, like I said earlier, you want to take them off in like a star pattern, one across from the other instead of right next to the other. Once you get it off, probably will be really dirty like mine. You want to make sure you know where they are. Make sure they're not going to roll out anywhere or anything, because without it you can't really use your tires. So you gotta make sure you're keeping hold of them. Try not to abuse your car whenever you do it. You can cut. Add something else. You can cut. Alright, so one thing I forgot to point out, and my mom told me I need to tell everyone, is to remember to do righty tighty, lefty loosey. It's one good way to remember, because whenever you take it to it, it just feels really hard to make it come off either way. So just remember, if you can remember left loose, then you'll get it. And also remember that this is pretty difficult, so you might want to have some more with you, or just try to find somebody who's in good shape. It's a heck of an exercise though. Like, you know, you just do this every day, you'll be good to go. You can cut. This right here is the hookup. Now that I've gotten it off and my lug nuts off, all in one place, so I remember I can grip the tire and carefully pull it off without stripping any of these bolts here. Now, one thing to remember, because nobody told me this, but this is my third time changing the tire. Always remember, if your tire did explode on you, you're going to see little metal, kind of like paperclip looking things on the side. Now, wherever you go pull it off, if you let that thing snag you, it's going to hurt really bad. It's not on this because this is a new tire. It's not exploded. Always check for that. You know, hurting yourself or cutting yourself while you're changing the tires, just going to make it kind of harder. So you're going to take your exploded tire, take it back, put it in the back of your car until you can take it to the dealer, whoever, discount tire, whoever you're taking. It's useless to get it out. You're going to take your spare tire, slap that baby on there. Because the angle I have it on is kind of weird, so if you can get on a flat ground, just get your lug nuts, hopefully you didn't lose them. Don't worry about putting the lug tab on there, it shouldn't fit. Again, you want to do right tight. You see, remember you gotta do right to tighten these things. I'm doing them by hand first, of course, because they're really loose. Cut. Alright, so like I said, you gotta make sure these are going on the right way, because I just look stupid trying to put them on the wrong way. Make sure they're facing this going on the inside. Earlier, and you're going to also put them on again in a star pattern or diagonally away from each other. Just tighten them as much as you can without it, and then go ahead and get the crowbar on. Now, whenever you do take the crowbar to it, you're going to tighten it, but you don't want it too tight, because it'll just make it harder to get off later. You don't want too much pressure on it. You don't want to risk that. But you also want to make sure it's not loose whatsoever. No give really whatsoever. But also still not too tight. And remember, again from earlier, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Well, pretty much just do the opposite of what you did to get the tire off. Now that I've gotten the tire on, since my actual this is your spare tire. Hopefully, make sure that it is tight, but not too tight. It should have no kind of give, really. Whenever you go to put this on here, it should feel kind of, should be like you got do a good deal of pressure. So, make sure it's on there correctly. I'm kind of stupid and forgot to put this on there before, so if you see me in school without having a hubcap, you know why. And take your spare tire, or take your spare tire, or your actual tire, make sure it's put back there properly, unlike me. And then you're going to take that to wherever you go get your next tire, and they'll dispose of it properly for you, and they'll keep keep the actual inside of the tire of the wheel for you to actually put your tire on there, the rim, sorry. I forget terminology. Just put your stuff back here, make sure you don't lose it. And then the last part, funnest part, is being able to take your car off the jack and drive it again. This is the most important part that you don't forget to do, because if you try to go and drive with it on the jack, so you gotta get back down on cold ground when it's cold. And the most important thing to remember when doing this, because it's going to be a lot easier than raising it, and also remember you're lefty loosey, righty tighty, but remember to not drop it and do it kind of at a accelerated pace. And there's no point in changing your tire. You want to kind of get out of here and leave, but you definitely don't want to drop your car on the ground, because that'll give you other problems. So just nice, slow rate, get it off there. And just make sure it's down all the way to where you can actually pull the jack out from under there. Alright, now I got my jack off from under the car, and the car is resting on good even ground. Got my spare on. We'll clean up my mess, because littering is a crime. It's going to be pulled over right after you just change your tire. You want to put your jack back here? Shove it. Be a good, decent human being, throw away your trash, and then you're good to go. Start driving again. So before I let y'all go, I wanted to review some of the things that you may remember to keep it. It's because once you do it, it's like riding a bike. You never really forget, and it's kind of really simple to remember. But just always remember righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. For whenever you put the tire back on after taking it off, it's pretty much the exact same but opposite process. Always remember, do not drive more than 100 feet if possible to get your tire off, because that will mess up the rim. And like I said before earlier, do it if you're going to break down, do it on a nice sunny day. Always remember that. If you can't, no worries.